My name is Brandon and welcome to or welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you like what you see in here, you're more than welcome to hit the subscribe button so you stay notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, let's get straight on with today's video. Hey everyone and welcome back to a new review. So in this review I'm actually going to be reviewing episode 10 of the Traitors. So we are very gradually getting to the final of the show. There are currently 9 players left and I think what we found out from the previous episode was that Amanda and Wilfred had decided either Aaron, Faye or Andrea were going to be removed from the game, so obviously only 2 of them would be coming back. Wilfred said that the only reason he is still in the game as a traitor is because he's always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead, and I think he kind of had a suspicion that he didn't really trust Amanda, and yeah, he wasn't trying to strategize a plan against her, he just had his suspicions whether she would do to him what he was potentially planning to do to her. When it came to breakfast, Hannah and Maddie were the first 2 to come in. I think Hannah just said to Maddie, who do you think potentially is a traitor? And Maddie kind of said that she thinks still Aaron or Wilfred, and she kind of said that either Amanda, Andrea or Faye would have potentially been murdered the previous night. Kieran walked in, Andrea walked in, Meryl also walked in, and she said that she thinks she's seen the light. She basically whispered to Hannah saying that she thinks Aaron and Faye are both the traitors. Amanda obviously walked in, Wilfred walked in, Maddie said that she thinks Faye is a faithful, and obviously the last person to walk in was Aaron, which meant that Faye had been murdered, obviously not being a traitor. So Hannah kind of just looked at Meryl and was just like, well hang on, these were the 2 names that you said were both traitors, so if it's not Faye, it's probably got to be Aaron, but then she didn't think it was Aaron. So Meryl's quick thinking and the fact that she'd seen the light, it didn't really pay off because they just lost another faithful who they thought was a traitor, or who she thought was a traitor. Anyway, that left 8 players, so like I said, after Faye was removed from the game, she said that she thinks that she was removed because people were catching on that she was doing well, and she also added that sometimes people are going to stab you in the back, so she kind of felt like those that she was getting closest to potentially were the ones that took her out. But again, she's not able to then go back and tell her theories, it's just kind of, you're gone and you're out of the game. That's the part of the game that I think is probably the most difficult, because it's like, you've then got so much intel, you could feed information to people, but you're literally just out of the game and you just have to keep it to yourself. Kieran and Hannah said that the traitors that are remaining are probably clever and they have poker faces, so they cry when people cry, they smile when people smile, they're shocked when people are shocked, and they're doing a very, very good game. And obviously Amanda and Andrea, neither of their names had come up, so Kieran kind of said, well actually, why don't we kind of point a finger at those 2. Aaron and Amanda both had a quick chat, said that they didn't really trust Hannah, and I think this is while they were outside. So Kieran and Hannah were standing on the stairs, Aaron and Amanda were kind of on, like, sitting on the grass, and actually Aaron said to Amanda that at first he didn't really trust her, he just had an idea the previous night that he didn't really trust Amanda. And yeah, Aaron said actually he thinks the traitor cannot be Wilfred, just because yeah, he's managed to prove himself before, but they both agreed that Hannah could be a threat. Amanda also went on to say to the camera that obviously she knows they're all very, very close, and they are getting these tight bonds, but she has to remember that these people are playing a game, and that also her and Wilfred as traitors are also playing a game, it's just a slightly different game. Hannah, Kieran and Meryl had a quick chat, and they all discussed that Aaron's reaction for Faye leaving, or for, I think it was for Theo leaving, there wasn't really much emotion for either of those, and he actually looked quite guilty when Theo left as well. So again, they're kind of, yeah, going down the wrong route with Aaron, but also thinking that he's potentially could be guilty. And Wilfred actually added, he joined that conversation and said that he actually wasn't sure about Amanda, so that's where he kind of planted his seed. And I think what he said was he is not sure about Amanda, and he thinks, like I said before, that she's gonna turn on him, so he needed to turn on her before she even had the idea. And he basically went on to say that potentially she could try and get everyone to turn against him, because obviously there's a bit of evidence that he could be a little bit traitory, so he's got to kind of deflect and go for someone else. So I think Hannah, Kieran, Meryl and Wilfred created some sort of alliance, and potentially said that they would go for Amanda tonight. And Wilfred added that nobody's accused her so far, so she could be potentially a threat. Yeah, so they had their idea set on Amanda and Aaron potentially both being traitors. Again, Kieran said that there was definitely one older brain and one younger brain, the two of them were hanging out quite a lot. I think Wilfred actually said the same kind of thing. Again, he got very, very excitable, stood up, Kieran told him to sit down. So I don't know if then there's a bit of, yeah, do they think he's a bit too over the top? But yeah, Kieran basically saying there's an older brain. The only two older brains left in there are Amanda and Andrea, so they're kind of having to decide between the two of them. The next game that was played was actually called Laser Quest. So it was basically just retrieving statues or valuables with certain amounts of money on them. The only difference was there was a bunch of lasers that all of the final 8 had to go over and maneuver through to get that item to the end, to then add that money to the prize pot. And there was £7,000 up for grabs and also a shield, but they all agreed they didn't want to go for the shield. So in the first round, just before the game started and as soon as the laser beams were revealed, Meryl said that it would be a good one for her because obviously she's very, very short, so it was easy for her to kind of maneuver through. And in the first game, Aaron managed to retrieve £1,000, Wilfred managed to retrieve £2,000, and everyone else was hit by the laser. And in the second game, obviously by that point they only had 8 minutes left, Wilfred managed to get 400, Kieran managed to get another 300, again everyone else hit the laser, and in total they got an extra 3,700 added to the prize pot. Hannah explained to the camera as well that it wasn't necessarily the best gameplay about not going for the shield because potentially she could get murdered, but also they're all on a level playing field, so no one's kind of above anyone else, or no one can be suspicious of anyone else because they're all in the same boat, apart from the Traitors and Faithfuls, what their aims of the game are to do. And yeah, basically in the car on the way back from the task, Aaron basically said, if you go for me, I'll be fuming. And Wilfred said that he had his ideas about who potentially the traitor or traitors could be, but wasn't wanting to tell anyone else. And Hannah said that Aaron also looked a little bit guilty as well. So I think at this point, this is when Wilfred knew he was going to target Amanda, but because he knew that Amanda was close to Aaron, he didn't want to tell Aaron, because then Aaron would probably turn against Wilfred in order to keep Amanda. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird traitor circle that Aaron was kind of stuck between Amanda and Wilfred, but he was close with both, so he kind of, yeah, wasn't told any of the intel there. Maddie, I'm not sure why, told both Amanda and Andrea that most people die on the toilet, whether they, I don't know, too much going to the toilet or they're on the toilet for too long. So that was a weird conversation, and I think she went to go off and get some salad. So that was a bit strange. Amanda was also in conversation again. So Hannah basically mentioned her name, saying she kept changing her vote quite a lot. And Wilfred added that going against Amanda was not part of his game plan, but if it's helping him by getting alliances with other people, and if it happens to happen, then he'll just go along with it. Amanda also, in conversation, said that she was a bit worried about Kieran and Hannah. Again, she explained this to the camera, not to anyone else, and she said that obviously both Kieran and Hannah then needed to go. She also added that she thinks Hannah is a traitor. Maddie said that Hannah potentially could be a traitor, or she's just a genuinely loud person, and she obviously has a lot of confidence. Andrea saying again, potentially Hannah could be the traitor. Aaron saying if he's not in a group, people will obviously be talking about him, so he wanted to get in a group of people who he's potentially not spoken to before, so he ended up joining the Andrea, Amanda and Maddie group. So they were having a quick chat, so yeah, trying to work out whether people were talking about him or where people's heads were, so he could obviously side with them. Again, Andrea, Aaron had a quick chat. I think Aaron said he wanted to talk to her a bit more to kind of see where her head was at, I guess, and obviously explaining that both his and her lives are very different, the lifestyles are very different. And yeah, they seemed to be bonding quite well there. And then Kieran and Hannah again had a quick chat. They need to keep the pack of faithfuls together, so they decided that him, Hannah and Wilfred would be a good trio. And Meryl said that she feels like she'd be personally hurting someone by voting anyone out at this point, because they're all her friends. But again, what you got to do is what you got to do by playing the game. In total, the prize fund was 77,800, so we're crawling up to 100,000 here. It's quite a lot of money compared to what they started with, 0. And at the round table, they all had to basically, to start with, before the conversation, Claudia asked them all to just pronounce "I am a faithful" in a sentence. I'm guessing this was to test who said it more genuinely than others. So they all did it in the order Kieran, Maddie, Andrea, Aaron, Amanda, Meryl, Wilfred, Hannah. And then it got down to discussions. So Kieran said that the same names keep getting brought up, and he kind of asked the group, who do you think potentially could do the role? And he kind of hinted the names of Andrea and Amanda. I think he explained his theory of an older person being able to take control of, or being able to take control of the kind of family and have that younger brain also helping. Amanda then went in for Hannah, saying that she's potentially a traitor, because potentially as a traitor you could crumble, but for Hannah maybe she won't crumble because she's just as energetic and fun and lively. Hannah just looked a little bit confused there, but yeah, not the first time she's been accused by Amanda. Again, I think Aaron pointed out about Maddie and her acting situation, asking why she had to hide it. I think Wilfred and Amanda both saying that she should have mentioned it, and she, as a comeback, she kind of just said, well, she hasn't done acting for 8 months, with Wilfred adding that there are people that haven't done acting for 3, 4, 5 years and they still call themselves an actor or actress. So yeah, the fact that Maddie didn't mention that now makes her even more suspicious, but she just thought it wasn't really important to mention, and she didn't want people judging her as being an actor or actress, because then people would question her every single move. Kieran also said that it seems like Aaron's name was coming up quite a lot. Then he also mentioned Amanda, that the light hadn't been shined on her tonight, and kind of just, yeah, asked her what kind of her view was, or who she thought potentially the traitors were, and how she could potentially get people off of the scent of her, so how she could defend herself. Wilfred again added the Maddie situation, the acting situation, how the Aaron situation has previously played out, and this is when he put the dagger in Amanda's back by saying Amanda, questioning how she could turn on Theo so quickly from being he was trusted by her 100% to then he was the name she put on her card. And Amanda also had backlash from Hannah as well, so Hannah also said Amanda voting off Theo, especially after he was 100% at first. So yeah, a little bit of backstab in there again from Wilfred and Amanda, and I think by this point she kind of knew that the game was over for her. When it came to the votes, there were 4 votes for Amanda, so Hannah voted for her, Kieran voted for her, Meryl, and the deciding vote, Wilfred. All 4 of those voted for Amanda, which meant she was out. She revealed herself as a traitor. Everyone was very, very shocked. She obviously said she enjoyed the game. I think she had a little bit of a tear, and then she left the building. And obviously Wilfred and the rest obviously acted very, very shocked, but Wilfred mainly having to act even more like, oh, I didn't know. So yeah, that was kind of part of his game plan. And Amanda, as she left to the camera, she basically said, well, she kind of realised it was the second time that he'd taken out another traitor, and she basically said he's going for gold. Obviously his intentions are to win, so he'll do anything. And she felt like she did slip up with the Theo thing, because you can't 100% on someone and then say they're not trustworthy the following day in front of everyone else. So yeah. And Wilfred to the camera also said that he was really, really sorry if he got Amanda wrong and if she was never going to target him, but he just didn't trust her at that particular point of the game. Meryl said that she's never been so shocked in her entire life. Kieran said that it's the first night in many that they can now celebrate the victory. And Aaron kind of revealed that he felt manipulated by Amanda, and that she was kind of getting him under her wing the entire game because she knew that he would never vote for her at the round table. And Maddie also added that it felt like all the traitors were her best friends, so she was choosing the wrong people, so maybe she needs to think about people she's close to, and potentially they are the final traitor. Kieran and Hannah both had a quick chat, thinking that either or both of them could potentially be removed from the show tomorrow, just purely because they were so vocal. And Andrea said to Maddie and Kieran that she thinks there's 1 traitor left. So yeah, it was over to Will, and he was in his little traitor session, so no Alyssa, no Amanda, nobody else, just him by himself. Claudia then walks in, and obviously there are only 7 players left, including Wilfred himself. So he was then given a lifeline. So she basically said to him that he must feel a little bit lonely in there. So Claudia actually gave him a secret mission. The first mission, well, there was 2 ways that the mission could go. So the mission was he needed to choose whether he wanted to recruit someone to join the traitors, and if he did and they wanted to join, then they would both murder one of the other 5. If he asked someone and they said no, then that person would be removed from the game. So in the end, Wilfred said that he needed somebody that he could trust. He chose Kieran. So what happened was that he, through Claudia, sent a message to Kieran saying that he obviously needed a bit of help within the traitors team. Obviously Kieran didn't know it was Wilfred at this point. So if Kieran was to say yes, then obviously Kieran would join as a traitor, and if Kieran was to say no, Kieran would actually remove himself from the game. The only difference this time is that Wilfred was able to meet Kieran face to face. They were able to have that discussion, have that chat, work out that gameplay, whether the 2 of them actually wanted to work together, and actually whether Kieran wanted to switch to the traitor team. So we didn't actually get to see that part. At the end of episode 10, we just saw Wilfred lift up his cape, smile on his face. So episode 11, we'll probably actually get to see them meeting. And yeah, we just saw Kieran open the envelope. He said he wasn't really sure if it was good news or bad news, whether he was potentially going to be killed or not. He kind of realised that it was for him to have a chat with the traitor in person, and he said it could either be Aaron or Meryl. So when he turns up and it's neither of them, then he'll have to work out, oh my goodness, do I self-sabotage myself and just leave the game because I don't want to be a traitor, or do I switch to the other team and work with Wilfred in order to get the rest out for them two to split the 70,000 between them. It's about 45,000 each. So yeah, it's already getting very interesting. It will get even more interesting in the next episode. But yeah, that is it for episode 10. If you did enjoy, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. We're almost at the end of the series, and I'll be back for another review very, very soon. And until then, thank you very much and goodbye.